Hello, I'm Sam, and this is my Minecraft world. Um, I want to make some quick disclaimers here at the start here. I'm going to try and make a bunch of videos kind of talking about what I've been doing here because I like to come on and just kind of play and build. And I don't know, I just figured since I'm making all this stuff and I enjoy doing it, I just might as well share it to someone. Some of the disclaimers that I wanted to make was that this is a realm. So I plan it with a couple of my friends or some of my family members, and so not everything on here is me and 100% me that's built it, but most of the stuff that I'm going to be doing and showing is stuff that I've built. Another disclaimer is that I do go back and forth between spectator mode and survival mode because I like to get the perspective and I'm too lazy to keep flying around and fiddling with my elytra to try and get the perfect view to see how it's going to look. So I go back and forth between survival and spectator mode, but everything else is built in survival. And honestly, it's really just a restriction I put on myself. I don't really want to flex. It's just kind of what I've been doing. So like if anyone says, "Oh, you cheated" or build in creative mode, even if I did, I don't care. But I didn't, because to me, I feel like that takes away some of the challenge, I guess. I'm not sure. Um, but the final disclaimer is that not every build that I make is 100% my original idea, and I do take inspiration or sometimes um, will copy basically exactly what someone has built before. And if that's the case and you're curious about a build and you want to know about it, I'm not going to link all of them down there for this video, but if I build a building in the future, then I probably would do that. If you're curious about a build and you want to be able to build it, I'll let you know if it's something that I built or if it's something that is just a tutorial that I followed, and I can help you out with that. So just leave a comment if you're curious. And I can make, I guess, a tutorial video if enough people want a certain build. If not, I would recommend just kind of using inspiration, because honestly, I'm a little lazy and I don't know if I want to put the effort into a tutorial video if there's not a high demand for it, which I don't anticipate at the current time because I don't have a big following. But I like playing Minecraft, so I figured if I'm gonna build all this stuff and spend my time kind of working on this, I might as well show my progress and see if anyone else is interested in what I have going on. I'm gonna throw my stuff on, and we can go check some stuff out. The thing I'm standing on here, this is like a Statue of Liberty. This is an example of something that I did not build. So my friend built this, and I believe he used a template to kind of follow. And then that in the sky is also something I didn't build and was based off a template by someone on the server. Same thing with the blimp there and this big ship. But other things here, they are things that I've built. This was something I just kind of came up with. This is a design that I kind of put together. This over here is based on someone else's build that I found online, and I just changed the block template up and then kind of adjusted the inside a bit. So that's just kind of what I've been doing, and that way I'm liking what I'm building, but I'm always kind of trying to shake it up a little bit, make it my own. This is another example of something I like the look of the building, so I kind of copied it, but I changed things up with it to kind of make it fit a little bit more with what I like. So I kind of changed this back porch up and stuff, and added in some stairs in this under area here, stuff like that. But this is my Minecraft world, and that I've been building on, and I have kind of developed a little bit of lore about the locations that I've been building and the little towns, and like coming up with names and all that stuff. And so I figured I would share it, and then if anyone's curious about the lore or wants to contribute to it, because there's a lot of stuff here that right now it's all facades. There's a lot of buildings and there's not a lot of stuff going on. I came in and I kind of added in little bits of like naming on the buildings, but the buildings themselves are pretty empty. Some of them are very tiny and almost impractical, but they had to fill in the space. So, some things are just like little small buildings, and there's not a lot of inside furnishing going on. It's just the outside that's there for now because I'm more focused on the outside looking pretty than the inside right now because, like I said, I'm lazy and it's a lot of work to furnish every house and no one's looking inside them anyway, so it seems kind of pointless to me. But like this is like a kitchen here, or this is supposed to be a kitchen here, and it's just something that I haven't gotten to yet. But there's a lot of stuff that I haven't really like. I've built the building, but there's not a lot of lore behind it. So if you want to help me out and kind of give me some ideas of maybe things to build in the future or what some buildings can be for, and we can create a little backstory for all the buildings, I think that that could be pretty fun to do. And so, uh, I guess leave some comments if you have any ideas or anything like that, and we can see where that goes. But we'll go over to this little sign here. Sorry for any little animal noises and stuff like that. I'm gonna go into spectator mode just to make this a little bit easier. So when I first like kind of started playing, like this is what it initially looked like, and as you can see, things have just started kind of progressing as I built out, and I've been slowly updating maps over time because I thought it would be cool to see my progress, and I'm pretty happy with how things have like turned out. And this whole area pretty much finished. I've been building more and more as I've been going, but the map no longer shows the progress I've been making because it's only a small map. But I initially started with my little ranch here. This is my Foxtail Ranch. This is my house, where is technically my bed and my home of operations. I've got a lot of cats because I wanted to get the advancement that's like get every single cat, which I did achieve. And so I've got a bunch of pets there. But I started with this, and then I built out the farms and the pens for the animals, and then I like trying to make things kind of make a little bit of sense. So I made like a pond up here that's feeding water in, that's got like a dam going for it, and then I had water just kind of flowing out of the mountain like out of the hill originally, but I went back and I wanted to make the water flow make a little bit more sense. So we put in a river coming through here up to like a big dammed up river that's, or a lake I should say, that is formed from all the snow melting. And that's just a little bit of detail that I think it's cool to kind of have a little bit of story to make it a little more real, feel like the world itself is um it makes sense. So I've been kind of building, and I try and keep stuff like that in mind, and include just whatever is around me into it to, I don't know, tie it together better. um I don't know if everyone else is interested in that kind of stuff, but I like doing it, so I'm going to talk about it if I feel like it. um But yeah, then from there I figured, build the town out. So I built this. This is Foxtail, the town, and I think it's pretty funny because I built this town, and everyone like initially it wasn't that many buildings, but once all the buildings got put in, like everyone on the server kept running around in here and kind of getting lost because the paths aren't necessarily laid out the best, and there's a lot of winding around to kind of get where you want to go. Like over here is like my entrance down to where my villager trading hall is, and so a lot of people would go down there to trade with the villagers, but then they wanted to get like back over to where my house was, but they didn't know how to get over there because you got to go out, down, over, and then back up, and they would either miss the turn or not know which direction to go. And I think that that's pretty funny because I kind of designed the town and with that in mind, because the theory was behind Foxtail was that the ranch was here and the ranch was successful, so workers came to work on the ranch because it got too big for just one farmer to work the ranch, so they needed people here. So the people came and they just built their houses, here. And then since there was so many people here, the people need food, the people need tools, the people need gear. So then we had tradesmen come in and kind of start building, setting up shop in the area, and everything just kind of like, it wasn't designed with the idea of being a town. initially. So what happened was is that all the buildings just kind of got placed haphazardly, and over time it became a full-fledged town. But navigating the town is not necessarily easy because everything's just piled on top of each other. It's cramped, and the pathways are just wherever worked at the time. And so that's why this whole area is like, there's a lot kind of going on, but there's also just not a lot of room, and it's very cramped and compact, and just a like a hodgepodge of buildings. And that was what I was going for. I didn't want them to look exceptionally flashy either, because it's not exactly a rich place, except for this building here. This is another example of like a building that I copied the like a tutorial for, but kind of changed it up a little bit. So yeah, but this is supposed to be like a rich person who's in charge of running the bamboo fields here and the kelp farms that I have in the town as well. So he runs the kelp industry and the bamboo industry, and then he makes a lot of money doing that. So that's why he has a big house, big fancy house that's made out of stone and stuff that no one else in town seems to have, because it's not exactly that kind of town. And then, we've got like the bamboo workers' huts, which are made out of bamboo because why make the houses out of an expensive wood when you have bamboo to build with? So, I've just slowly kind of built, and I just started with the ranch, and I slowly built the town, and then I thought, if I built the town, why not expand? Why not kind of do more? So I've been slowly working my way out, and we've got like our docks here. We've got like a lighthouse, which the tower itself I just is kind of taken from another video, but like the base of it I changed because I didn't think it fit well with what I was doing. So I just like the look of the tower itself, so I kind of used that. And then I put in these docks here, with some boats, with some supplies on them. So this is like the port for Foxtail, because the town's got to get supplies somehow. So it's got some docks here for bringing in the goods, some docks for some bigger boats here. We've got one in the station right now. I'm not exactly the proudest of this ship design, but I did do it myself. Do I think it's a gorgeous piece of art? Not necessarily, but I think it fits its purpose, so I left it as it was. It's more of like a barge boat, focused on carrying supplies over everything else rather than trying to look all fancy like that design over there, which is not me. This in this area here, is my little quarry. Initially there was a lot of gravel in this area, so I was like, oh, I'll make this like a little gravel quarry. But then I thought, like, it doesn't really make sense for there to just be a quarry for gravel here. Like, all the gravel would have been taken away like really quickly. So where's all this gravel coming from? And so then I thought, well, maybe they're dredging it out of the ocean. So I was like, okay, they're gonna dredge it out of the ocean. What are they using? So I made up this little barge boat kind of thing, and I used some inspiration from another design for a crane, and then I was initially going to use that design, but it was massive. It was a massive crane, and I was like, that is way too big, so I made a tinier version, and did this instead, and I put it on top of the boat. And so in theory this boat will go out, and it'll dig up some gravel from the water there, comes back, and then it gets unloaded onto from these cranes. The cranes will then turn, drop it into the carts run it over, and then they dump it into piles all over the place. Pick it up off of here, dump it in piles, and they just kind of do whatever with it. So that's just I guess an insight into my thought process on building things and what I do, and I'm pretty happy with how this whole system kind of came out for it. And I like how these cranes and the barge all came together. And then there's I don't know, there's a lot kind of going on. And so I think from here, I'm going to just kind of be a little more broad instead of going into more detail because I wanted to just kind of do an overview and show everything that I've done. And then if we want more detail, if you guys want to see more and have me do a little bit more depth, then I can go into in-depth on each section. But I guess for this video, I wanted to go over Foxtail and the ranch because that's where it started. And then from there, I can do videos for each section. But the rest of this is just kind of be an overview of everything and my plans maybe going forward in the future, so you know what's in the works. So that was Foxtail there. And this building that I'm looking at is a train station. So the train station is going to be linked up to a rail line that goes out, and this massive area is going to be like a big city. And then we have this bridge here that is going across, so it's like a big bridge that cuts across this open area that's kind of like a bay. I'll show a map in a minute. I do have a map in my house that gives a better idea of what is going on here, but these are going to be towers to kind of be like guard towers for, you know, the big ocean that is out that way. So there's towers on the bridge to make sure it's defended. There's going to be a big city here, and there'll be a rail that goes along this, and in theory this rail will go kind of in a loop around this bay area, as you'll see when I show the map, to kind of connect it all together, and then maybe have train stations that can go out to different locations. Because initially, I'll show it, I have another map. I really like the maps in this, the map update that they did for this game. It's just absolutely wonderful with the banners and having the different scalings and stuff. I love it. It's so much fun. But they're gonna have the bridge here, some more towers here, and what I've been trying to do is kind of incorporate my friend's builds into what I'm doing. So my friend built this statue here, and so I'm going to kind of use this as like, this city is basically going to be the New York of this area, because this is going to be like the Statue of Liberty, but for this city is going to be called Anchorhead. And so I thought it would be pretty cool to have like this statue here. So I try and kind of I've been trying to merge kind of what I've been building into what's happening around me. And so let's show the maps first. We will show the maps. I'm getting a little discombobulated here because there's a lot. But so this is what I've mapped out myself so far. There's a lot here, but basically everything I built is is right in this area here. You see the massive Anchorhead. There's this big bay area here that I really like. I think that it's cool to have this kind of bay going on. And you can see I have all these different banners up with different locations. And basically I just went around, and as I was mapping out, I was like, this would be a cool place to build. And I came up with a name, and for a lot of these locations I wrote a little bit of lore about them as well, for their reasoning of them existing, or like, you know, what's going on there, to kind of give me some inspiration of what to build when I eventually get there. The thing is that, as you can see, there's a lot of locations there, and as I said, I've only really built, not even in this bay area, but really just in the peninsula here that's completely covered by these green markers. I have not really built much farther than just this little peninsula that's here. And so, you know, building all of these locations is just a crazy project to kind of take on, especially because I tend to get carried away, and I constantly think of, oh, what can I add, or what can I do to kind of improve things, and I will show you what I mean kind of a little bit with that later on, because initially I was just going to build Foxtail, and then I was going to go to Anchorhead, and as you can see, Anchorhead has not been started yet. It's just a slab of land. But we will go to the other map I have over here to give you a little more in depth, as you can see. So this gives you a better idea. This is a bigger scale of what's going on in what I've built. So Obviously, as you can see, there's the bridge going across. Over here, this little area, um, I don't have a cursor, so it's hard to point, but you can probably tell where the bridge connects. That's where my brother Ryan's base was at, or is at. So that's his area that I planned to connect. And then this hill valley that's labeled here is my friend Xander. So he has his base up on top of a mountain there, and so the train is supposed to kind of go across, and it connects our areas, and in theory, we'll eventually do a loop around this bay area. And so up here, um, you can see that pretty much what I decided, we have this river going through here. Everything to the left of this river is going to be my zone that I'm building in right now. Is what I told myself, don't worry about anything to the right, because if I worry about anything to the right, then I will never move on to anything other than this area. And I want to try and maybe do some other locations and move on to Anchorhead, and build Anchorhead, and I keep getting distracted by expanding outwards. So I made that border for myself, and I called that the Divide. That river was not initially there. I had to dig that out and then fill it with water. So that was a bit of a boring project, but I'm happy that I did it, because now I have that definitive line of where, like, this is my area, over there is whatever. And regardless, I still have a ton of work planned out before I even get started with Anchorhead, which is going to be another massive project. As I said, I kind of get ahead of myself, and I have a lot planned, and my progress is, I would say, pretty decent, but um, I just am building for fun. So let's go and check these locations out real quick. Basically, this is going to be just a forest that divides between Foxtail and Anchorhead. So there's a little bit of woods here. And then over here will be Anchorhead. And then over here we have, this is the Forge. So there was a lava pool that's underground here. So I thought it would be cool to be like, okay, well, maybe like this place is using that natural lava pool as a fuel source, or like a heat source to like smelt iron or whatever. So I made this little forge design thing, and I put it in there. And then there's a little bit of a town here with a little bit of a market area kind of going on. And I'm using hand gestures, but you can't see it. That's I just figured I would mention that because I am doing it, and I've done it a couple times now, and I don't know, I guess I'm just making fun of myself. But there's a little bit of a fishing, like, kind of farm, like, village area here. I guess some of these guys are the workers for the forge. Other ones maybe are just living here. They work on the farm, or they're just merchants that sell their stuff here, or maybe they go fishing on the water. The water here is pretty deep and spawns a ridiculous amount of drowns, which is kind of annoying sometimes, by the way, just a fun fact. But I have like all these pathways kind of connecting everything. This area here is what I'm currently working on. This is going to be Fishington. I know the name is incredible. And so this is actually what I did yesterday when I was on. I just kind of started making some market stalls, and we have like there was just like a natural like cave that dropped down into the water here. So I thought it would be cool to be like, okay, well, maybe that's where they get their fresh water from. So this is like the well. So, they've got like a bunch of barrels here to ship the water out to people so they can get some fresh water, all around the town, because, the rest of the water is probably not fresh since it is a bay here. So, yeah. And then I built up here, there was just kind of like this weird kind of floating block structure going on, where like some of it was like grounded, but over here there was like a little bit of floating stuff. So I kind of filled in some of this to make a natural bridge or arch going there, and then I made it so that this is like a little park that's up here. They were like, wow, this is really pretty, let's make it into a park. So the theory is that this is like, it's got a nice view of the town and the water, and so I called it Overview Park. Yes. But that's what I'm going to be working on. So that's probably what, if I decide to do live streams while I'm building, I'll do that. I've kind of done it in the past. I tried it out and I don't know if I really liked it because I felt like I was doing a lot of boring stuff where there was nothing really to watch and I wasn't saying a lot because either I was like thinking of like where I'm gonna plant trees or where or like what I was doing, so I wasn't saying a lot. I was just thinking, and it made it hard to talk and think at the same time. And so I don't know if I'll be doing that. And sometimes like if I want to like build a building that's like based off of a tutorial, then it's hard for me to kind of live stream that because I'm usually like watching a video of how to build it while I'm building it, so it kind of makes it hard to live stream and watch a video to build it. Um, so I don't know. But this here is a watermill. This is my own design. I kind of drew this one out. I think some of my measurements were off with when I planned it. The blocks didn't really look as nice as I thought they would. But for the most part, I did make this kind of a design and planned it out. And I think it came out pretty good. And there's like a little bit of dammed up water here because the water comes in, you know, if you want a good flow of water, you got to dam the water up. So I built a water dam here. And I think that came out pretty nice. But this is all like a forest here. It's more foresty. I wanted to kind of keep the woods. One, it makes me have to build less, and two, I think it looks prettier when there's woods around rather than just buildings everywhere. It makes it a little more immersive as well when you're walking through the paths and there's like trees and there's grass and bushes and stuff. So I like doing that. And so all of this like woods area is custom made for the most part. I use the default trees, but I have like a little bit of a trick where I place dirt blocks up so that like I place the sapling on a couple dirt blocks up so that when I bone meal the tree, it's taller, and then I just fill it in with wood back down to the ground. And I personally think that the trees look 10 times better this way, because usually when you get a tree, like this is a standard one here, it's just so short, and you know you can barely even get under them. But if you do the same thing, but you just place a couple blocks, then now all of a sudden that tree looks a lot better in my opinion because it's a little bit taller, and you don't have to worry about all the effort of building your own custom trees. You just got a bone meal, and usually, I think it turns out pretty well. Like here, as you can see, like it would never grow that tall on its own, but I just built it up a couple blocks, placed the dirt, bone mealed it, boom. I think it looks great. But we have the river that cuts through here. I built a bridge that goes across. My friend helped me with this dam here, so there's a bit of a dam here that is functional. It has pistons that will stop the water if wanted, but it's really not necessary because, you know, it's not like it's gonna drain or overflow or anything like that, but it's just a fun thing that got added in. And then I built the lake here. This was not natural. I had to fill this in. This river going down, all of that was, you know, not natural. We had to kind of build up this backside a little bit as well to kind of make it so that it wasn't just like a path through here. There was like a natural kind of ravine, like this area here. This was like a natural ravine, like a shallow one. So it almost looked like there was supposed to be a river here. So I was like, it looks like there's a river that's supposed to be here. So let's make it happen. And so that's what I did. And that's how Foxtail Ranch gets its water for its crops. And then up here, you know, we've got all these trees and stuff. Like I said, I built this pond here. As I said, this is not a natural pond. I put this in here, had the water flowing in, added a little dam. I did that pretty early on because I don't know. I think it looks nice. I went in and I touched it up and I added some greenery and the bushes and the stone to make it look a lot prettier, and I think it came out really nice. And then so these windmills are loosely based on a design. Like I really like the look of their I guess turbine blades. I really like how that looked. So I took that, but the rest of the thing I wasn't super happy with, so I kind of changed it because it was more than I really needed. So I made these basic towers with a basic area at the bottom. Not much going on inside of them, but it's really more for the outside aesthetic than anything. But I basically figured we've got all this wheat. It's got to get ground up somehow. So might as well put some wind. There might as well be some wind turbines. It just makes sense. There'd be windmills for the farm because there's all of this wheat that they're growing. So I put these windmills in, and I had them be on the cliff face, or like on the cliff side, because the offshore breeze, the offshore breeze spins the turbines. And then we also have the water mill over here. That is also, used for a similar purpose. And I'm getting into more detail again, which sorry, I just get a little excited about it. But this is like a little bit of a forest area here as well. And I built this because initially my base was there, and this is my friend Xavier. He built this massive kind of fort-looking thing here, and it was basically a dead zone between his house or his base and my place. So I was like, how about we connect? And I asked him about it, and he said, sounds great. So that's what we did. And so we have a path that comes up over here around the outside, and I kind of just started building and like put all this stuff in between our bases, and now it almost looks like we planned it, but it was not planned at the beginning. And I've just kind of been expanding outwards from there ever since. And so this is kind of a forest area with some intersections with roads going into it. I can go into more detail on kind of all these builds here. We've got a build there, a shop there. In another video, I feel like this is going to get way too long. It's already at a half an hour. Whoops. But yeah, so this area over here is a work in progress. This is actually where people spawned in. So I really didn't go very far from spawn. So like when we spawned into this world, this is where we were at. And I'm doing the hand gestures again. This is where we spawned in at, and so from here, we all kind of ran off and then found our locations to build at. And now, well, honestly, before we did that, we all kind of just pretty much stayed at spawn, and we built like this little dock here. And we had like a tunnel that went up to our little hidey hole thing in the mountain, or in the ground here. We'd like dug in. We were all together at the beginning, so we had this base. We had some farming in here. We had our berry farms and all this kind of stuff that was built in here. And then we had like our mine, just the standard things that you would have there. So this is where we like started everything. So I thought it would be cool to now pull what I've been building all the way back over to spawn. So when you spawn into the game, boom, you're in a safe location, in theory. So I figured, all of this area is like lit up with torches, so there's not really any monsters that will spawn in this area. So I figured it'd be cool to kind of make a town here, right here on the water, because I want to have the trail come down, come over, and then I called my friend's base the Northern Keep. And so the plan is to have the Northern Keep be like a big fortress on for like the military or the navy of the region. And if they're going to have this big fort here, it makes sense that they would have their fleet of navy ships. So I thought it would be cool to have a big port for some massive like ships for this this keep. And so the plan is to have a big port here for those ships, and then maybe some other stuff in this area as well, because there's some shallow areas where I thought it would be cool to build. That's someone's build. I'm not certain who that is. And I I have a bad habit of kind of You know, if they're not active on the server and their build is in my way, then I'm going to just take it out. um, because a lot of people kind of came onto the server, said hi, started something, and then left. Like this building here, like I'm not sure who built this. I think they moved away, or they just have not been on the server since they built this. But I am going to destroy that and kind of redo this whole area and turn it into a town. The town's going to be called Newport is my plan. This will be Newport. And as you can see, I kind of have some like plans laid out. So I'm gonna make a town here with like some nice docks and stuff. Maybe some like stuff out here on these little shallow islands. Maybe build them up to make them islands, or just have stilts kind of coming out of the water. I'm gonna build some kind of farming areas here and here. Gonna be a little hut up here. I'm gonna build some kind of stone statue thing there that I found I thought looked cool. Kind of add that in, and then gonna build some kind of like just little hut on the hillside here and there. And then I'm going, once I've built all of those things in, I'll fill trees back in. You know, we'll have paths that go around. That ties into an area over there. And then, you know, you can go right or you could go left. And it's all still safe, but, you know, it's just different directions you could go. And then you could also go straight, because actually what I have, there's this natural kind of ravine here. And I thought, I saw this and I thought, you know, I could have thought like, oh, I'll just fill this in or something like that. But I thought it'd be really cool. You know, there's this natural ravine here. What if, it was a town? What if we built something in here? So I want to try and kind of have buildings just kind of, and like bridges, like wooden bridges and like paths and stairs, just kind of weaving down this with buildings into the kind of cliff sides, all the way down this kind of ravine until a point, maybe like somewhere down here. You know, I'll cover it up and we'll make that the end of it, and maybe we'll have a mine at the bottom. It'd be like, I think I'm gonna call, what was I gonna call this? I put a name up here. The cavern. So yeah, so this is gonna be the cavern, which is going to be some kind of town sort of thing. Down here, and this will be like the cavern mine down there. And you know, I guess their main business is they provide all the ore and stuff to the region, especially for the keep here. So that's why there's like a town there, down there, and then there'll be Newport here, which is mainly just a small town for the port itself. And then we'll have some farms here, which will sustain, in theory, Newport and also the cavern. And then, you know, I have this area over here. So like I said, this is the divide, as I called it, which is just a river that kind of flows through from one side to the other. And I dug this all out and I tried to make it look as natural as I could, but I didn't go too crazy. I probably could dig it a little deeper under the water. It's 3 blocks deep, or yeah, 3 blocks deep in the water, kind of going through here, and I could kind of make a bit of a shallower, or not a shallower, like a little bit more of a natural indentation through it to make it seem more like a riverbed than it is, because it's just kind of flat across. But I didn't really feel like it at the time, because it was a lot of digging and I was just happy to be done with it. But this is the bridge that I made over the divide. So initially this was all land here, and I thought it would be cool to have like a nice bridge going across with the divide here. So I kind of envisioned it before I wanted to make that division to be like, okay, nothing on that side I'm building on. But once I had it in my mind, I was like, I should build that, but then not go further than there. And you know, I may change my mind in the future, but we built this bridge across. It's nothing crazy, but I didn't I didn't want to go too extravagant because I didn't know if it really made sense to go super flashy on this bridge because, it's kind of a hard place to build a bridge at. Um, but put this bridge in, um, and then there's the path that goes this way, and that if you follow this, it'll connect over to Foxtail and all that stuff. But this area down here is the lower pass or something like that. I think I called it the lower pass or low pass. So it's just like a way to go kind of from Newport around if you don't want to go up to, the keep and then down to Foxtail. You could go around this way to Fishington or the Forge, or you could continue on from here to Foxtail as well. So all roads lead to Foxtail at this time. um, and so I just kind of added in some quick little things in here. I did this pretty recently. I made this path going across underneath the bridge, and we have the divide guard. I figured it made sense that if the area beyond the bridge is untamed, by I guess my standards, then there should be some kind of guard stationed by the bridge or the divide in case invaders come or any monsters try to sneak across the bridge or something. So this is like a little store hall for them, and I did kind of furnish this one because I felt like calling it the store hall, but then putting absolutely nothing in here just seemed a little ridiculous. So I put that there, and then this one is the headquarters. They've got like a little tower on the back here to kind of keep an eye on the bridge and the other side, so they've got a person on lookout, but not a lot of furnishing going on in here. But this leads to the up to the tower and down to nothing. There's really nothing down here. But I had the real estate, so I had the stairs go down, and I'm getting into too much detail again. There's a basement. But yeah, so this is the low pass area here. And then, this connects back up to where Fishington is. And, this trail can go left to Foxtail, right to the Northern Keep, or back down to where Newport will be. Or you could go left over to where the windmills are. And the path through Foxtail is not the best. But you could go through Foxtail, come out the other side, and head over to Anchorhead. But if you wanted to go to Anchorhead, it might be easier for you to just travel across the water from Fishington and just kind of take a ferry, because in my mind that would be a thing that you would definitely be able to do. Just take a ferry from here, because there's going to be docks over there as well, so it makes sense. If there's a bunch of boats here, why wouldn't you be able to take a ferry from this dock to that dock? But that's something for the future. But I'm going to kind of build this town up. There's going to be a big fishing market, stuff like that. Over here, I'm going to put some kind of boat just in the water in this open area that I have here, just to kind of put something in here. I thought it'd be cool to be like someone sailed their boat in here and anchored it up, and it's just living in this little area here. I don't know, I just thought it would be nice. So that's something I plan to do. And then yeah, that's pretty much my plans for right now. But it's a lot. And especially for one person to do, so I get a good amount done in like one play session if I'm in the mood for it. Like I pretty much went through and I built all the buildings and stuff that I wanted to put in here, but most of it was like half a building because it was right up against the mount, the like cliffside or the hill. So I didn't have to build like a full building, and I didn't furnish them like I said. So a lot of these buildings were pretty easy to make and went pretty quick, but I kind of furnished it, made the paths, made the like guardrails, did some terraforming and planting of trees to make it look prettier, built the buildings, and I did all that in like one play session, but that took like a couple hours. So obviously, like I'm not just like doing that in like 20 minutes or something. So the process itself would be something that I would live stream, but my plan is to make progress updates as I'm going and maybe make some videos going into more detail on specific locations. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've got going on this on my Minecraft world here. And I'm just going to kind of keep building, showing some progress updates, and if anyone wants to um kind of add something into the world, then send me your ideas of maybe something I could build, or if you have just a little side story for a person and we can figure out how we can fit them into the world themselves. Um, I think that would be really cool and a fun thing to do. Be like, oh, I've got a character. His name is Michelson, and he likes um pigs. I don't know. He's a pig farmer, and he's very serious about tending to his pigs or something. I don't know. And so, uh, just like I don't know, something ridiculous, or it could be something completely serious too, like the Divide Guard, like I said, is like something, and just maybe we could add in some like little secrets in locations, because right now maybe on a live stream we can kind of do some of that sort of stuff, because there's a lot of interiors that are just empty, and there's a lot of potential for adding a little bit more character and secrets and um, magic into the world, uh, that I think would be cool and fun to do with other people getting involved with it. Um, but we'll see how it goes. I plan on my live streams to um, build, but while I'm building, I'm just gonna kind of talk about whatever topics. Some things might be more serious, some things might be a little more lighthearted, whatever. I'm just gonna try and fill the void while I'm playing, so that there's some kind of entertainment to the content for anyone that wants to join on the live streams. If I do them or not, I don't know. We'll see. But the plan is to do some live streams and just kind of talk as much as I can, and then from there probably do progress updates as I go as well, doing a quick video rather than this longer one, saying like, this is this location, this is what I'm doing here, or this is what I've done, and then doing like description videos being like, welcome to this place, and then I just do a deep dive into this location and the specific buildings there, and like why those buildings are there and stuff like that. I think would be fun to do for me. I don't know if it'll be fun for you. It depends on how interested you are in what I'm doing, I guess. But yeah. So I thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you all in the future. Peace out. Oh, maybe I should hold on. I'm going to take damage, but it's fine. I will see you all later.